for us there. Now, there can't be many people in the world who have travelled from the southern tip of Africa to its very north on a motorbike. That rare feat was achieved in 2017 by REGGIE KHUMALO. He's a South African fine artist who is exhibiting his paintings this week at the also known as Africa Art Festival here in Paris. I'm delighted to say he's with me in the studio now. Good evening and thanks for joining us.
Bonsoir,
Bonsoir.
As the French say.
Indeed, bonsoir. We are delighted to have you here in Paris. Thanks for joining us. And look, I want to ask you first of all, about that motorbike adventure that I mentioned, because that was in 2017, and that was also the year that you became an artist, well, a full-time artist for the first time. So tell us about that, about your journey and how it ties in with your artistic career.
So I basically went as low as I could, because I've tried to run. I tried to run away from being an artist for such a long time.
Okay.
I'm born with the gift. I'm an artist through and through, right? And everything fell off. And then I had only art to me, you know. So I decided there's nothing that I'm gonna do something that no one can ever take from me, and I'm gonna do something that I love that no one can ever take. So that was in between. I had to either I was gonna do do paintings, and then with the paintings I'm gonna buy a motorbike because I love motorbikes, and then with that I'm gonna travel because I love traveling, you know. So I was prepared to be a homeless person for a while, right? And I was that for 4 years or so on the bike. And so I bought a motorbike, and then I put my bags on the canvas and the
everything
tent.
to paint with on your back.
Everything.
Wow.
And then I went across Africa. But the thing was it was to rediscover the artist in me, you know. And I thought the best way is to meet other Africans and go across the continent, you know. And,
you know, you talk about rediscovering the artist in you. You also say, you know, you were a natural artist from a young person. But what's interesting about that to me is that actually you didn't have a formal training as an artist at all. So, I mean, why not?
Absolutely not. No, I don't know. You know, things happen that way. They happen. But at the same time, you know.
But was it always your plan to be an artist?
It was never my plan.
Okay.
It was never my plan. And I was never really, like, I looked at artists like, oh, these guys are quite dirty. They're not cool. Well, they were cool, but they were quite, you know, they were not organized, as we say. Like, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, you know, like I wanted to be a businessman and so on, like my dad was at the point. And then, you know, everything, the spirit just led me to where it led me. You know, and I had only art to turn to.
Yeah, and it took you on this remarkable journey, as I say.
Absolutely.
And you spent quite a bit of time on that journey from Cape Town to Cairo in Sudan. And I know that inspired at least one of your paintings. We mentioned Sudan in the programme, In the Grips of a Terrible Conflict. Tell us about Sudan and why that inspired you particularly.
I got to Sudan. I mean, I'd been through a lot of countries already, but you know, I've experienced, there's a African philosophy that we call Ubuntu. I am because you are, and you are because I am.
Right, it's Zulu, right?
Yeah, it's a Nguni term, I would say, that talks about the community living together. And I've been through Malawi, which was quite kind, South Africa too, all of the countries all the way until Sudan. But the Sudanese is a different kind of Ubuntu. It's a different kind of love. It's a different kind of caring for each other. They insist on being kind. They like it's a different kind of spirit for one another, you know. And it was I almost call it radical Ubuntu. It was quite radical in its own form because they just want to share. They want to just show you love, you know. And going through, and that time I went through during the revolution.
Yes.
You know, I was stuck in there, and there were people. I mean,
after the president was overthrown.
As they were overthrowing him, you know, and. Just experiencing the power of what women what they do when they come together and when they say enough is enough. That for me was like it gave me chills on my body, and it was just like experiencing. I seen them standing on cars and you know, wanting more for the family and wanting more for the country, for society. I was like, you know, this I've got to put in my work. I've got to put in my work. And besides me being also almost, I would say, adopted by another woman in South Africa, Cindy Mawasokoana, who has been a big part of my journey and experiencing that love from a stranger. And this is the love that women carry.
Yeah.
And I thought I'm going to, you know, from there onwards, my work is going to be giving platform to women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are lots of women, indeed, lots of portraits of women in
my work.
in your paintings.
Absolutely.
Before we let you go, though, I want to ask you about your work here in Paris. You're here at the moment as part of the also known as Africa Art Fair.
Yeah.
Why are you here? How do you find Paris as an artistic city? And just tell us how it's been.
So yeah, no, I'm here through the Filafriques gallery in Geneva, through Karen Bailey. So she applied. She told me, like, Reggie, would you like to do this art fair? And I'd done a couple of fairs before, and I was like, this is actually quite in line with everything that I'm doing, and I would love to share my journey with Paris in this, especially in such a setting, and. And Paris has always inspired my work, by the way, also too.
Okay.
In a sense, like, you see a lot of apples in my work. You see a lot of, it talks about Eden in a sense. This was my time going to Versailles.
Oh, really?
And then seeing the golden apple, the big golden apple on the grounds.
Okay.
And I was like, when it struck me so much that I was like, that is going to go into my work. This is Eden in a sense,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. That is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful way to end the programme. We are absolutely out of time. But a man who's travelled then from Cape Town to Cairo and also here in Paris, inspired by this very city. You've been listening there to Reggie KHUMALO. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Absolutely.